Hey, welcome in. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Talk Live. You know what? I forgot about one thing. I still have to put a tweet up that we are live now. Son of a... how did I mess this up once again? Yeah, it's been happening too much lately. But here's the good news for you guys. You're now tuned in to the only 7-day-a-week Clippers content channel here on YouTube. Some are locked on. We're locked in, baby. 7 days a week now. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe I'm doing this. But, hey, it's a good time. People seem to enjoy it. So I've always appreciated Clipper Nation. And yeah, we're going to be doing this every day till the season is over. I will have something new for you guys here on the channel as I have now gotten a tweet off. Let's see. I know it's college football on a Saturday. I know we got Oregon, Ohio State coming up. What channel is that on, by the way? That's kind of bugging me right now. It's not on Fox yet. I thought the game started at freaking 4:30. It's not on CBS. That was USC losing to Penn State in I don't want to say humiliating fashion, heartbreaking fashion. It's been like that right now for USC. I know if I go to my smartphone, I can find it here on the DirecTV app. I just want to have it on in the background a little bit. I do have an Oregon hat on. I am somewhat invested in the Ducks. Is the game? Don't tell me the game is next weekend. Oregon versus Ohio State, and they have a bye this weekend, and I'm a dumbass. Is that the case here, guys? Is it that simple right now? No, the game is on. Watch live. Wait a second. I need an NBC Sports subscription to watch my guy, Noah Eagle. No, it's on Channel 4. I should have known. Big Ten. Saturday night. Oregon, Ohio State. And Ohio State's up 7-0 already. All right, so I may have an eye on that during this Clippers Talk Live. If you're in here, if you can hear me, knock on wood if you're with me. Let me know. Let me know in the chat, as I just got a haircut earlier today, hence why I'm a little bit late. I said around 4:30. We got on about 4:45. What's 15 minutes, guys? It's good that people are starting to join now, as I'm just tap dancing. My man, that's what you got to do sometimes. So there's a couple things I wanted to get into about last night's game. And maybe we could start with this, because I just saw this from Carlo Jimenez. Ray Ray's in here. Scott Tran's in here. You guys are hearing me loud and clear? Good. Check this out. This just popped up while I was getting my hair cut earlier. And yeah, I got a few of them trimmed. But Carlo Jimenez, in his editing brilliance, I can't remember if he uses Final Cut or not. I know there's some war between editors. Yeah, we got to talk about Sky Jones, who was baptized last night with that nickname by yours truly, and Carlo Jimenez, who cemented it with this call. But he just put this together. This is on his Instagram and his TikTok, and I thought you guys might enjoy this. Make sure the sound's on. Check it out. Throw it up to Sky Jones, and let's get this Clippers team back and into it to him on Monday.
2 seconds later.
Williams to inbound, 4.2 to play. A bucket and the Clippers lead. Williams got to throw it in. Finds Miller, attacks the lane, lobs. Jones with a dunk. 2.2 to play. Timeout, Portland. Sky Jones with a hammer. The Clippers with a lead, 101-99.
You know what? Just throw it up to Sky Jones, and let's. That was prophetic. But to be honest, is it that great of a call? How many oops has he had the last couple of games? Quite a few, I would say. I just love the fact that Carlo put that together, and I get to be a part of the real social media Carlo Jimenez, Carlo the broadcaster, with his amazing Just really cool videos. Legendary. We'll see. Was something born out of that Kai Jones alley-oop? Broadcasters jinx of the good kind, Ray Ray is saying. Did we speak it into existence? Did we LeVar Ball that? I don't know. I really don't. But I want to talk more about his performance last night because it was special. However, there are times where you got to pump the brakes and realize it's preseason game number 3, and they were taking on maybe the worst team in the Western Conference. Most likely they will be in the Portland Trailblazers as they saw them in Seattle. But this guy is just so easy to root for, this guy Jones. Check this out with La Murray post-game in the locker room with Kai Jones afterwards. I can't get enough of the Kai Jones content. And the smile, the $1 million smile, like, you got to love this young man.
So, when was the last time you had a game winner?
Shoot. I don't know, bro. I think that's my first one, actually. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So what was they?
High school, yeah.
So what was they telling you, to look for on that last play?
The pin down was going to be there. I was getting Jordan open, and I knew that when he drove that they was going to come to him and the lob would be there. So I told him in the huddle, I was like, yo, watch the lob. It's going to be there. And then it was wide open. So he threw a great pass, and I finished it.
Now, something we talked about, this morning about being physical and everything. You saw Dom clean. Big guy, DeAndre Ayton, big guy.
Yes, sir.
You played so much better in the second half. Again, what was it that kind of got you into it this time? Because T. said he ain't say nothing to you.
Yeah, I feel like from the first half, I was trying to lock in and get everything right. The big thing with me is I tried to be perfect. So when I noticed the scoring in the second half and I knew I was going to get more minutes, I just tried to maximize the opportunity and win the game for real. So that's why I ended up blocking so many shots. I was just trying to stop him from scoring every time.
All right, anything else you want to add about tonight?
No, sir. Great W. Appreciate you.
All right, man.
Yes,
He's so polite. He's so attentive to the interviewer, whether it's La Murray, that was at La Murray, the NU. He was, I believe, the only guy on the beat on the road trip up in Seattle last night. How can you not like him? Oh, you want the interview with Pingalore? I think I can find that for you. I think Justin Russo had that on his X account. Yeah, he did. I got it for you. Yeah, you guys just shout out whatever you need here, and I'll find it for you, I guess. I'm gophering around here on the internet, trying to make sure we really dive into everything Kai Jones related because he is the story right now. Here he was on KTLA 5 post-game with David Pingalore.
David Pingalore with the hero for tonight.
Wow, Friday Night Madness on KTLA. Kai, I mean, take us through that play. Wow.
Yeah, it was a great learning experience and a great W. I'm proud of the guys. Atmosphere was great.
Nobody wanted to see overtime. You finished it off with a dunk. Take us through what that play was called.
Oh, so yeah, that was supposed to be a pin down, and I told Jordan in the huddle, like, when he comes off, just look for the lob, and it was there. So I'm glad that he made a great pass and we won the game.
5 blocks tonight. I mean, you were running up and down the court at a high level tonight.
Yes, sir. I felt great. Trying to block everything coming in. Yes, sir.
So have you ever had a game winner before like that? Have you knocked a couple down before in your career?
I've had some games where I had like 5 blocks. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So when you're in the huddle, what is Ty Lue saying to you guys?
He's just telling us to sprint hard, keep our composure, take care of the basketball, set good screens, roll hard. He wants me to get behind the defense on the roll. So, yeah, just keeping it simple for me.
Now, one thing I did learn from you on Media Day, you could sing. Okay, what would you sing to that dunk?
We are the champions, my friend.
There you go, Kai Jones. There you go. Hey, he saved overtime. Kai,
Look at
thank
this.
you.
He thinks he's getting another question. He comes back
How about
one more
that, Jimmy?
time.
Again, the sing. We are the champions.
This is a dream interview now. I need Kai Jones on the show. I need him on. I need to ask him about Sky Jones, the nickname. I'll see if I can make that happen. He's a little bit busy right now winning ball games for the Clippers. That was him with David Pingalore post-game on KTLA 5. Clippers back home Monday night. And when I say back home, I should just say home for the first time ever. Monday night, your first game at Into a Dome. They're taking on the Dallas Mavericks, appropriately so, the team that knocked them out of the playoffs, the team that they've seen 3 times the last 5 years in the playoffs. You're listening to Clippers Talk. I'm Adam Oslin. Jay says, love him at an NBA level getting minutes or love him on a preseason G League level. That's a question. I'm keeping receipts to no, Adam. LOL, all love. Can't wait for Monday. I don't want to put a cap or a ceiling on a guy who can jump this high. I don't think, here's what I'm going to say. We don't know what he can be at the NBA level yet at this stage of his career. He may have to play backup center minutes early on if Mo Bamba's out. Right now, he hasn't played any of the 3 preseason games. It may be out of necessity, but Kai is going to be on a 2-way deal, which means he has 41 games he can play up in the big leagues. Can he do some of this stuff against real NBA competition? We just don't know yet. We got to wait and see. I don't want to doubt him at this point, but it hasn't been proven. He only has played 613 minutes in the NBA, and that was all with Charlotte on a bad team where he still wasn't getting big minutes. Scott Tran says, dude has a lot of potential, needs to put in more work, though. I'm not worried about his work ethic from everything that I'm hearing, including some of these quotes we'll get into in a little bit from Coach Lue. Ray says, Clippers karaoke. We are the champions, my friends. Sharita Ritz says, please keep your feet on the ground, pray, and be great. Little advice there to Kai Jones. Tom Rain says, man, would be great to get some new young talent like Kai contributing. I think that's why it's so exciting. We haven't had a young guy contribute with this level of athleticism for a long, long time. Tom Van Dyke says, any Clipper over 6'8" is already my hero. Jay says, yesterday was an example of why I don't mind keeping these young guys around to have fresh legs to keep up with these younger teams. Also like how Terance started the second half at point guard. Ray said, Ty did say that Kai is learning really fast. I'll get into the exact quote here as I'll reset this Clippers Talk Live. I appreciate you guys for being in here. Keep the questions and comments coming. We'll get to all of them. It's good to be with you on a Saturday. I want to reiterate that we're 7 days a week now. Some channels are 3, some channels are 5. We're 7 days. 7-minute abs. What's the old something about Mary argument? The season has started enough for me to already go into that next phase and say, we're 7 days a week with new content here on your Clippers Talk channel on YouTube. If you're just a subscriber on the Spotify side or iHeart or iTunes, you're going to miss out on stuff because I'm not posting everything there. I'm not. Here, complete Clippers content on this channel 7 days a week until the season is over. I know it's just preseason, but there's too much excitement for this team. I'm having too much fun, and I'm committed. So let's start things off with reviewing some of those post-game quotes from Coach Lue and then Derrick Jones Jr. also. As we can continue with the Kai Jones talk, Coach Lue said this about him. Quote, Kai's been getting better every game, every practice. He knows exactly what we want from him. And he talked about some of the assistant coaches working with Kai Jones and said, quote, every day on spacing, they're working with him. Quote, you know where he's supposed to be on timing, getting out in rolls. He's getting better every day. I love to see it. You know, he's enjoying the game, being on the floor. You know, our guys are happy for him because he's getting a lot better. He's got to keep pushing forward. And this is the key. As fun as it has been so far with Kai Jones, as much excitement as there should be surrounding this young player. I know a lot of you were hyped for him before he even became a Clipper. You were asking for Kai Jones. Get him. Bring him in. Credit to you, because right now he's their backup center if the season's starting tomorrow. No, it's not. It's October 23rd and into a dome against the Phoenix Suns, but Mo Bamba is not available. Kai Jones is currently their backup center. But again, he's going to be on a two-way. He's going to get that final two-way spot. I don't see any scenario or path for him not to, even though Aldonis Williams has been awesome. Man has been great. And I don't know if he's going to end up with the Clippers in their G League or if another team's going to sign him to a two-way, but I love what I've seen from him, controlling games at times. The last 2 games in the second half, man, Aldonis Williams has been awesome. He's pushed Kai Jones, I think, a little bit for that last two-way spot. But because they have a need for another big man, it's got to be Kai Jones. It has to be. They don't have another option with Mo Bamba out with a knee injury. I still don't think it's overly concerning, but I don't have any intel outside of I've seen him in training camp and at practices, at least in walkthroughs, and he's dressed. So the knee injury, whatever's going on with Mo Bamba, as Oregon just scored. Pending the extra point, they're about to tie this up at 7 a game. Yeah, I'm a Ducks fan. I went to Biola University. There was no football team. You could play intramural football there, but no football team. So they had the corny shirts that said undefeated since 1930 or whenever the school, first year was, because they never had a football team. So I adopted the Oregon Ducks because I had a couple of friends from there. So I'm a little bit invested in this ball game. But the forefront is Clippers talk. That's just background for me. Something to play off of here. Ray says we need to talk about the ball movement in last night's game. Man, bringing up the ball and seeing Harden move off ball was a revelation. We'll talk about some of that. Ooh, Oregon went for 2. Or they just get blitzed on the extra point. Ohio State's going to return this thing for 2 points. No, he's tackled. I'm sorry. I'm devoted. I'm done with this game just because Noah Eagle's on the call, and I get excited about that. And he was on the show with me just like a week ago. We'll talk about that, but more on Kai Jones. I want to unpack everything with him because we have more from Coach Lue on Jordan Miller, more from Coach Lue on the first unit, why Chris Dunn wasn't playing, and then we'll hear a little bit from Derrick Jones Jr. and some of his quotes here on Clippers Talk. I just want you guys to know, I think you need to put things in perspective, as good as things have been so far with Kai Jones. Because if he was, already getting serious consideration with the Charlotte Hornets and real minutes there, and I know there was the incident where he went through some mental health issues and was on social media, but we moved past that. But, you got to understand, he hasn't played much at the NBA level at all. He hasn't proven anything yet. He has averaged a 2-2 so far in the NBA. You want to look to a Wemby dunk in preseason last preseason when he dunked on Wembanyama? Yeah, the athleticism is there. We know that. Can he do all the little things? That's what we have to see from him. He still was setting a couple ghost screens last night where he just wasn't physical. He's so fast that he's almost too fast for his own good when it comes to setting a pick and roll. Where the pick turns out to be very little contact with him on the defender, and he is already rolling to the basket before he's actually getting up on guys, checking them, putting a body on him or on the opposition and showing off his physicality. He needs to, because obviously he's a freakish athlete. Well, he's thin. He's shredded. He's got muscle. He can move some guys. So while his screening has been better the last 2 games, it still leaves something to be desired, to say the least. The way that play happened at the very end for him to get the oop was because Jordan Miller is so proficient at getting downhill with a runner, a floater, the push shot. So therefore, the defense expected it. He got 2 on the ball and lobbed it up to Kai Jones for the game-winning dunk. But Kai still has to show a better ability to rebound out there, to box guys out, to find bodies when the ball's going up. Like, there are just a ton of things you have to consider when you're talking about him being the backup center already And he may have to be out of necessity, but I don't think it's by design. Mo Bamba's that guy. I've never heard there being a conversation that they're competing for the backup center spot. I was listening to Dime Dropper earlier on this. It's like, how can they be competing for it if one guy's just competing for a two-way contract? He can't even play every game. He can only play 41 of them. Mo Bamba's not on a two-way. He's signed, sealed, delivered. He's on a minimum. I don't think they're competing for it. I think Mo Bamba has it if he's healthy. Coach Lue has talked about Mo Bamba saying, basically, even if he doesn't play in the preseason, he could still play opening night because he knows what he's getting with him. He knows what he's good at. He knows what he can do. He's more reliable and much more proven at this point than Kai Jones. Gregory says, how well will Mo Bamba be utilized? Ty Lue, according to Isaiah Hartenstein, doesn't like stretch bigs. I don't think that's the case. I think it's more about Isaiah, first of all. What do you mean Isaiah Hartenstein is a stretch big? Because he has a ridiculous ability to throw up a 10-foot floater and get it to go? I don't know if you guys knew this about Isaiah Hartenstein, but it's not exactly like he's been lighting it up or taking a lot of threes. Well, let me tell you how many threes that he took last season in New York. 3 of them. He made 1. The year before that, 37 with New York. The year before that with the Clippers, 30 total. Hit 14 of them. He's not a stretch big. What are you talking about? So your entire premise is off here, Gregory. You're saying Ty Lue doesn't like stretch bigs because he didn't like Isaiah Hartenstein, who's not a stretch big. Come on, y'all. EvilBot Adam, who's using a Chuck Mockler face now, says, hello, chat bros. I second that. Hello, everyone. Rafael Romo says, I would like to see Norman start when Kawhi is out, but who's going to score for us off the bench? Well, what likely would happen in that scenario is, because Coach Lue already tipped his hand to this, he mentioned getting Norman Powell out early to bring him back with Ivica Zubac. So he'd probably still be playing a lot with the second unit. He just would start games, maybe play the first 5-6 minutes, then get him out. So James Harden's still out there most of the first quarter or all of it. And then you bring in Norman Powell near the end of the first quarter with the backups. They're probably bridging the end of the first into the second. And then midway through the second, James Harden returns. That's likely the outlook. And I understand wanting to see Norm start if Kawhi's out because offensively, they would be in trouble. You can say defensively, it offers some problems, and it's problematic to have him and James Harden out there. But if they have those two next to some combination of Terance Mann, Derrick Jones Jr., Amir Coffey, Nicholas Batum, and then at the 5, you're going to have Big Zoo. I'm not that concerned about it. Yeah, your point of attack is going to suffer, but they're going to try to hide Norm, I'm guessing, in certain nights at least, against somebody else's number 3, their small forward, if that guy isn't a big-time scorer. There are ways around this a little bit. It's not as simple as he'll be guarding the number 2 every night. Opening night, he'd probably be guarding Bradley Beal. I think Mann would be on Booker and Derrick Jones Jr. on KD, should they go with all 3 of those guys in the starting lineup. But I ain't done with the Kai Jones talk yet. Sky Jones didn't fall out of the sky on that alley-oop he put down with the game winner just to be talked about for 5 minutes. I know you guys love him. I do too. But all of the messaging from Coach Lue is, yeah, this is cool. He needs to get better, basically. That's how I interpret it. He's so incredibly raw, guys. I don't know what it would look like against a competent NBA team out there that isn't trying new stuff in the preseason, that doesn't have the lack of talent like we've seen the last 2 games with Portland, with Brooklyn, who we're talking about 2 of the worst teams in the league, also playing guys who likely won't even make their team in the preseason. It's really hard to gauge and know exactly what he can do considering the level of competition so far. It is. I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm just saying there's still a lot of unknowns. You have to dial it back a little bit. Be enthusiastic about it, be excited about it, but also put things in perspective with Kai Jones. Now, again, if Mo Bamba ain't ready, don't matter. Kai Jones is going to get some run early on in the season. It's just they have to. They got to have a backup big. I don't think they're just going to be able to play small. Against Phoenix, they could, depending on what the Suns do. Ray says, the year Hartenstein played with us, he had come out of the G League and wasn't as proven in the big leagues, in my opinion. That's fair. I think, let me see how many minutes Isaiah Hartenstein had played in the league at that time. He obviously got to learn from one of the best, playing behind Nikola Jokic. He still had significantly more minutes in the league than Kai Jones does at this point. He played 221 minutes in Houston his first year, 266 his second year. Sure. And then 559 total his third year between Denver and Cleveland. So he had at least, 300, 400 more minutes than Kai Jones, which is not nothing in the NBA before he was with the Clippers. Now, he was a fast learner, and that's why I say I don't want to predict that Kai Jones just can't do it at all this season, or it's not going to happen. I don't want to put a governor on someone and say, this is how quickly one guy, a young guy, progressed, and that means Kai Jones is going to progress at the same rate. No, that's not the case. Every individual guy is unique. It depends on how much work they're putting in. Kai Jones is doing everything he's asked right now, so maybe he can expedite the learning curve a little bit. We just don't know. Senile says, defense is okay. Need some offense when Harden sits. Fair. Their half-court offense wasn't great last night. Hasn't been great. Ray said, everyone knows he's a top-tier center now. Hartenstein. Yeah, he figured it out quickly. The Clippers had him, I believe, when he was 23. Kai Jones is 22. Maybe Kai Jones can progress that fast. It would be the exception to the rule, I want to point out. Gregory says, I don't know if it's because of Hart or if that's Ty Lue's style. I'm just saying what's been reported. What's been reported by who? What are you talking about? Give me names. I want specifics. I want accuracy. Again, saying Ty Lue didn't like Hartenstein because he doesn't like stretch bigs doesn't make sense. Hartenstein isn't a stretch big. Just because he can pass out of the high post doesn't make him a stretch big. He's not a shooter. He hasn't proven any of that. Our friend from Japan says Clips maybe always put 2 point of attack defenders out there other than Kawhi. Yeah, I think so. Even when Kawhi is there, you're going to see Mann, Derrick Jones Jr., Mann, Batum, Coffee Batum. You're going to see 2 other guys, I think, helping out on the perimeter. So Kawhi, at best, has to guard the third toughest guy. I think that's likely. Ray said he had played a lot, but his three-point shooting was in the G League Finals. Which guy are you talking about now? Kai or Hartenstein? Again, Hartenstein and his long ball has never materialized at the NBA level. Maybe no one's just given him enough of a shot. I don't know, but I think at this point, he's getting closer to a finished product. Tom Van Dyke says, weird stat last year. Beard plus Mann equals a plus 3-1 net rating. He said Beard plus Mann equals plus 1-1. What? Context. Where's Mockler? I don't know. Doing something with it's the weekend. Not everybody is wanting to do a Clippers pod. I didn't check with him on this one. Tom Van Dyke, correction, Beard plus Mann equals plus 1.9. But Powell plus Harden, not as bad as it looks. Cool. Ray, I think Tom Van Dyke is one of those guys who is a man hater, a non-believer in Terance Mann, and he's been If that's the case, those people have been proven wrong time and time again. I don't even need to get into it. Ray said he was talking about Hart in the G League finals. Again, G League, guys, as competitive as it is and as good as it is, it's definitely a step above college ball. It's still hard to gauge. Brandon Boston lighting up the G League. Mr. 46. Could he do it at the NBA level? I don't know if he ever got a fair enough shot with the Clippers because just wrong place, wrong time to be on a team that's has championship aspirations for him to get enough minutes. Maybe now in San Antonio, he'll get a better shot, I hope. But yeah, it's tough to know with young guys and project who they're going to be. Gabi says Hart was never a shooter. Come on, man. Appreciate everybody in here on the Clippers Talk Live as we try to figure out what's real and what's not with Kai Jones. No. Tom, man just played 71 games in the starting lineup last year. Over the last year and a half, the Clippers are, I think, about 40 games over 500 with Terance Mann in the starting lineup. It's over. You lost. It's done. He got his contract. Y'all man haters, take the L. Condolences. Sorry. Learn ball. Man is very impactful. I don't know if you knew this or not, but he just locked up Luka Doncic in that first round series. Luka shot 38% when Man was guarding him and went 0 of 12 from 3. Nobody was better than Terance Mann against Luka Doncic in the playoffs last year. Nobody. Gabi says, and he's still not going to shoot it like that. Talking about Isaiah Hartenstein. We can put that to rest. He has not proven to be a shooter. EvilBot Adam says, it's not Adam, EvilBot Chuck. Sorry, I'm back. What's the chat about? Is that what somebody was asking for? The what's Mockler was for EvilBot Mockler, which used to be EvilBot Adam. This guy entertains me. Tom Rain says, what are we thinking about Kobe Brown? Good question. Up and down play from Kobe, I think, overall. Just like in Summer League, been a little bit up and down. I had somebody on Twitter telling me the other day that like Kobe Brown could be the starting 4. And I pushed back. Might have been in a YouTube comment section actually here. Yeah, I think it was the comments section on YouTube in one of the videos we did this past week. Somebody was trying to tell me that Kobe Brown could be the starting 4. And I'm just like, based off what? He said his defense is really good on the perimeter. I'm like, I don't think it is. He's gotten beat off the dribble a lot. He doesn't have great lateral quickness. That's not necessarily one of his strengths. It's why he's gotten into foul trouble a lot so far in his young career. Now, still young, figuring it out, but up and down play without consistent shooting from the outside is a problem. I'm telling you, the first guy between him and Jordan Miller that shows that they can be more consistent defensively and be a knockdown shooter from the outside is probably going to get the big opportunity. Right now, it looks like Jordan Miller's in the driver's seat. He had 15 again. What do I always say with Jordan Miller? It looks too easy. It looks too easy for him. He needs a bigger challenge out there. And he did get to play some with the second unit and was playing with James Harden some. He got into the game later in the first quarter. Coach Lue said this about Jordan Miller post-game after the Clippers' 2-point victory off the Kai Jones oop from Jordan Miller in Seattle against the Blazers last night. Here was Coach Lue on Jordan Miller saying, quote, yeah, I mean, his game has definitely matured since drafting him. Just playing in the G League with Paul Hewitt, I believe, who's an assistant coach, one of the G League coaches, has done a great job for him. I mean, the game has slowed down for him. He plays at his own pace, gets to his spots, gets to the free throw line, and he can also make plays when he gets downhill. So, really good scorer, does a good job of getting to the free throw line. And so I'm just happy for him and continuing to see him keep growing. That was Coach Lue on Jordan Miller last night. I think the point about the game is slowed down is so apparent to everyone when it comes to Jordan Miller. You can see it, not just when he decelerates and gets to those long strides at the basket, sidestepping defenders. He's reading the game so much faster. This is why you can never know how quickly a young guy is going to progress or if he's going to progress enough to be an NBA player. Ray says Miller looks ready. Lou Dort was not a better defender against Luka Doncic. Luka was bullying Lou Dort. Terance Mann was better. Go look at the matchup data. Completely wrong. Lou Dort was not better. No. Do you know what Luka Doncic shot in that series? Do you know what he shot in that series? I got to defend Terance Mann here. Get rid of the false narratives. Sorry, we'll get back to Jordan Miller in a second. He went from shooting 40% against the Clippers, and it was 38% in the matchup data against Terance Mann, where he didn't hit a three-pointer against him, to then against OKC in the second round, shooting 44% and 40% from three almost. He was way better against Lou Dort. Talking nonsense. Gabi be better. Gabi be better. Daniel Denton says, you all are underestimating the Clips this year. Last night was promising. If they defend and run, they may be way better than anyone thinks. Why is he saying you all are underestimating the Clips? Who's he talking to? Talking to me? I know what they can be. Tell me how many games Kawhi is playing, though. It's kind of dependent on that, my guy. And we have no idea. Tom Rain says, man needs to take on a bigger role. Well, he's likely going to be starting. He'll likely get more shots up. I think he's going to average between 10 and 12 points, 10 and 13 points per game this year. Wilbur Beltran says, what do you think is real with Jordan Miller as we get back to that? And what do you think has to happen for him to get minutes on the second unit? Probably a trade. He's not better than Amir Coffey right now. He hasn't proven that. I mean, Amir Coffey's been great in the preseason. Limited minutes, but he just looks like with some of the second and third units he's played with, it looks like, an old pro that has the game figured out. Amir is going to get minutes before Jordan Miller. So a trade might have to happen. I don't want it to happen. But this is when everybody asks for young guys to get more minutes, they don't know who's being sacrificed for that to have to occur. You want to win, but you also want young guys to get more minutes. Those things typically don't go together. You kind of have to pick one. You either accept going through the growing pains with some of the young guys, or you play some of the vets and have a better chance of winning. Jordan Miller might be the exception. We don't know for sure yet, but I need to see him against the first unit. I need to see him against the top 300 NBA players instead of back-end guys in the second and third units before we really know a lot about him. Evil Bot says, I'll trade Kobe Brown. Cool. I don't know what you're getting for him right now, and I don't know if you want to give up on Kobe Brown right now. Scott Tran says, thoughts on the defensive lapses during the Blazers' timeout plays? Is it just the new guys not fully used to playing together? Maybe. There's some miscommunication out there. They still only gave up 99 points total and 21 total in the fourth quarter. When it was winning time, once again, the Clippers pulled away when they had to. I think Gabi's laughing at the fact that I exposed his casual nature. Evil Bot says, Kai, Miller, Williams over PJ Brown, Bones. I mean, yeah, PJ, I don't expect to be playing this year for the Clippers. Gabi says, can you guys explain to me why you guys aren't going to Blake Kawhi? I'll explain it. I don't think they can do it again. Kawhi represents them becoming a destination franchise. He is more than just what he's been able to do when he's available on the court. He symbolizes the Clippers becoming a destination franchise. No free agent had ever chosen the Clippers like that before. When everybody's going after the finals MVP and the Clippers landed him, that's never happened. To do him like what happened with Blake, I don't think it would send the right message to future superstars and possible free agents and guys they want to bring in. That's why. I think if he gets traded, it'll be some mutual agreement where Kawhi is okay with it as well. I could be wrong, but I think it is highly, highly unlikely. Gabi continues, why not start Amir? I've talked about this recently. I think Amir could start. I think Amir Coffey is a real option to start. I think he would do a solid job at the 4 because he can guard the 4, he can guard the 3, he can guard the 2. He's so versatile defensively. He's a really good defender. And last season, where did Amir Coffey end up shooting? I need to look this up because I know, and he got a lot of starts and started last night's game, but towards the end of last season with Kawhi being out, guys, Amir Coffey averaged 31 minutes per game the last 8 games of the regular season once Kawhi went out. 31 minutes. He might be in the lead at the starting 4 spot. Maybe they don't want to move up Derrick Jones Jr. and move up Terance Mann to the 3. On the season, Amir Coffey ended up shooting 38% from 3. Now, he struggled mightily in the playoff series against the Dallas Mavericks. Could never find his shot. Was unfortunate. Average 18 minutes per game. Shot 31% from the floor, 27% from 3. It's not on exactly high volume, but only scoring 2.8 points per game. Might have fueled him this summer to get even better. Who knows? I'm a big Amir Coffey fan. I also am a realist and understand that he's an asset and other teams will be calling about him. If there's a PJ Tucker trade, someone's probably going to inquire about Amir Coffey. Gabi said, no offense to DJ, but he's such a subpar offensive player. I think he limits the Clippers' ceiling. Okay. Should we move on to Derrick Jones Jr.? This gives me a jumping off point. I got one more for you from Coach Lue on last night's Clippers offense, the first unit, and Ivica Zubac's here specifically. Coach Lue said this. Zoo only finished with, it was kind of a rough game for Zoo. 1 of 4, 18 minutes. They weren't looking for him. 2 points, 4 boards. Whatever. Not overly concerned about it. Coach Lue said this about him. Quote, I thought on his post-ups, I thought he rushed a couple of them, went a little too fast, not taking his time. I got to do a better job of making sure we're getting him the ball closer to the basket. He's catching it, 5 to 6 feet off the block. That's a hard action for him to try and complete as far as backing down 4 or 5 dribbles and getting to his spots. And so just executing more and making sure he's getting the ball closer to the basket where he's more comfortable. There was a play when you talk about rushing shots from him. KPJ had a really nice pass as Zoo set the pick. I think it was a little pick and roll to the basket, and Zoo put up right as he received the perfect on-point pass from KPJ, a left-handed hook shot. Didn't get it to go. So it's twofold here, or 2 sides are responsible. Zoo's got to be better, taking his time, and the Clippers have to be better looking for him and getting him the ball deeper in the post. I can't keep going to Gabi here. He's been getting too much love. What about the rest of you guys? Rafael Romo says, when Jordan Miller's drives to the basket, he reminds me of PG. You mean with those long strides at the end? I can see that. People brought up SGA as well. Ray said, need to drop. Don't feed the trolls, Adam. Can't help myself sometimes. Tom Rains says, I'm excited about Derrick Jones. I feel like Harden can set him up a ton. Let's talk about that. Derrick Jones Jr. last night had his best game so far in the preseason. He had 16 points in 21 minutes, guys. He had a steal early on. Don't know if you noticed that. It was an absolute pickpocket. And looked about as comfortable as I had seen him offensively. I'll give you some quotes from him coming up. But he had, and this stood out to me, 7:30 mark of the second quarter. Derrick Jones Jr., there was a replay of this, I think, coming back from a break, but he took his man off the dribble and got into the mid-range for a little jumper. That's interesting. That's what I want to see. More facets to his offense. And then, of course, he had a dunk in transition. I think that was off, a hard and long outlet pass, as there were a few of them. He found Jordan Miller for one. He tried to get KPJ one. He got Derrick Jones Jr. one. Just mortar fire with those long outlet passes. Money. Derrick Jones Jr. spoke with La Murray last night. This is all these quotes coming from La Murray. Make sure to follow him at La Murray DNU and to subscribe to The Athletic because La is more than worth it. So, by the way, just to button things up with Coach Lue, why no Chris Dunn? It's exactly what I said post-game. I think he just wanted to see more from the young guys. Chris Dunn's 30 years old. That's what he said. Wanted to see more man, more Williams, and Jordan Miller play with the second unit. Here's Derrick Jones Jr. post-game on being more physical. He talked about not wanting or not waiting for the ball to find him. He said, I got to be the one to go out there and make things happen. Quote, I have to make my imprint known on the game and let everybody know I'm there to play. Love that. I have to make my imprint known on the game and let everybody know I'm there to play. Derrick Jones Jr. I love the confidence he has and just the quiet confidence and the quiet voice he has. It's kind of intimidating. You know, those low talkers sometimes. Ooh. Now, where do you feel like you progressed? Law asked him about that in the preseason. He said, trying to find my niche, find my role, find my spots where I can be aggressive and get my shots off. What do you personally want to accomplish before the regular season is over? Or, excuse me, before the preseason is over and the regular season opener? Derrick Jones Jr. says, quote, just want to get better as a team. Just want to go out there and play every game like we're supposed to, follow the game plan, and stick to it. That's what I want. I want to be the best team. I want to be the team holding up that trophy at the end of the day. That's what I want. For that to happen, we got to go out there and do our job. Lofty expectations. Love it. This is a guy who was just in the NBA Finals, so he's hungry to try to get back. What about those advanced passes? Derrick Jones Jr. said this, quote, that's why I'm running the floor as much as I am. I mean, the more we run the floor, the more we are able to put pressure on the rim. And even if we don't have anything on the initial drive, we kick it back out. The defense slides out there. We have shooters at the top of the key with James, T-Man, Amir, Norm. It doesn't matter. We always got somebody trailing and can hit that open shot. So as tired as I would be, it doesn't matter. I just got to run the floor. If I get that advanced pass, put the pressure on the defense. And if I ain't got nothing, kick it back out for a shot. Yeah, Tom Raines, there you go. I'm excited for Derrick Jones Jr. in this offense too. Last night was a blueprint and was really them adhering to the game plan when it came to those long advanced outlet passes. Those advanced passes up the court for easy buckets. Sharita Ritz says we need a power forward. Yeah, you're the first to say that. Let me know who's the power forward they're going to get. I feel like we do this every show. And every power forward you guys give me pretty much is some unrealistic trade. Tom Raines said, I feel like I would like to see Kawhi traded. I would trade him if they even could. I feel like we hear this every show too. Who's trading for Kawhi and what are you getting right now? Juan Angula said, for real, when they traded Blake, S had me effed up. And he said, I dead ass stopped watching ball for a bit. Well, it was the right move in the end. And ended up getting them SGA. It ended up getting them the 2-1-3 era. I know it was disappointing because things outside of their controls with injuries, but every GM in the history of basketball does that move. Tom Raines says, do you think the L. Frank has regrets on re-upping Kawhi? I don't. I think they're in business with Kawhi Leonard because it's bigger than just what he can do on the court. It's symbolic of what this Clippers franchise has become. Everybody wanted him, and he came to be a Clipper. That had never happened before. That is transformative. That's bigger than just basketball, it is something that is forever going to change this organization. So as disappointing as it has been, we thought there'd be a championship or two by now. Injuries have derailed that part of it. But I think getting Kawhi in the building means you have established yourself now as a place free agents will be coming and a place superstars want to be. And by the way, that was before Intuit Dome. That's another shot in the arm. That's another reason to feel good about landing top-tier free agents. Scott Tran says, I feel like the people that want to trade Kawhi wouldn't like what the Clippers would get back. Yeah, most likely. There's someone being reasonable. Juan Angula says, crazy how much Kawhi hate there is. Like, bro doesn't miss games because he wants to. S wild for real. It's a good point. He wants to play. I think he wants to play right now, actually. I told you guys on a standalone I did, not a standalone, on a YouTube live I did Thursday on Kawhi, where I did a little bit of an investigation to bring you up to speed on what's going on with the right knee, where he's at now. Coach Lue had a couple of comments about it. And one of them this week, before the game in San Diego, Coach Lue said, if it pisses off Kawhi, basically holding him back right now, so be it. So I think they're being very, very overly cautious. Evil Bot says Kawhi never will be traded, so stop that narrative. Tom Raines says they signed Kawhi right in the middle of the crazy winning stretch that was short-lived last year. It's not short-lived. 26-5, that's 31 games. That's almost half the season. That's not short-lived. I feel like Kawhi bamboozled them. Stop talking. No one is taking him seriously. No one is taking you seriously. I ain't going to any more of your... I just did. You're done, Tom. You're in timeout. Put user in timeout on YouTube. I have the power. Tom Van Dyke says, asked and answered. Bamba can't do Kawhi like he did Blake. I said that. Tom Van Dyke says, Kawhi is the difference between under 41 wins and over and under 41 wins. That's why the line is 40.5 wins. Thanks. Tom Van Dyke, Kawhi is the difference. Okay, he fixed it there. Thank you. Juan Angula says, we take for granted Kawhi's greatness as Clippers fans. Us Clippers fans are so hungry for a championship. We take for granted Kawhi greatness. Us Clippers fans are so hungry for a championship. This is what you have with Kawhi, guys. It is a lottery ticket that if you hit with, meaning if he's healthy, you pretty much have a shot against anyone in a series if he's healthy. That's what Kawhi gives you. Gregory Elwood says, sorry, Adam, you're going to hear bad power forward trade ideas until they trade for anyone. No, then they would still bring them up. If they don't trade for someone that they wanted, they'll continue with it. Mark Jag says, I got a name. TJ Warren. TJ Warren. Bubble Jordan. He's 31. He's had injury concerns recently. He's currently on the Knicks. Guys. Since the bubble, you want to know how many games TJ Warren has played since he lit the bubble aflame? Since he looked like a completely different player. Which kind of speaks to how much you should put into that bubble championship. Sorry, Lakers. He has played 95 games. 95 games. The last 5 seasons. That's brutal. TJ Warren is not the solution, Mark Jag. Do better. Shay Nene Shake says, sheesh, Adam, can we engage with you, Mr. Grumpy? Some people may not have seen your other shows. That's why I was updating you on it. That's all. I don't know. Some people like my back and forth. Juan Angula says, I feel like it, but not going to lie. At least regular season, they be balling. We see the greatness. Just sad that they bodies don't hold up. It's hard to sort through that. Oh, now Mark Jackson says bring Morris back. Really? After Clipper Nation wanted him run out of town? Are we really going to do that with Marcus Morris? You think that's a solution? Did you watch Marcus Morris at the end? Yeah, he did some good things for the Cavs last year. Caught lightning in a bottle for a little bit. Gregory Elwood pointed out the Suns didn't want TJ Warren back. Mark Jag has given me 2. See, I told you I would get 2 bad solutions. If I bring up the power forward question, who should play the 4? I've gotten TJ Warren and Marcus Morris. Is this what you want? Juan says, wouldn't be surprised if Kawhi starts playing or doesn't start playing until January so we can keep him healthy, but knowing our luck, injury playoffs. They can't wait that long. The West is too good. You can't just stash Kawhi away and say, we'll bring him back in 2025. You might be out of the plan. That doesn't work. Hans got jokes. David West. When's the last time David West played in the NBA? 2017? Yeah, he was with the Golden State Warriors team. He went back-to-back with them, with Kevin Durant, and then said, peace. Any other good ones? Good suggestions here? You want to see Webb at power forward too? Yawning Tears says, do you think Kai should continue to try and block everything in sight or focus more on getting in position to rebound, i.e. just hand up and not jumping? That's an interesting question because when you do get a couple of blocks, when you establish yourself, when you get a reputation as a shot blocker, it can mean that guys don't want to test you. And you're deterring shots whether or not you're actually getting a block or not. They're no longer trying you in the restricted area around the paint near the basket. That's something Ivica Zubac has done because last season, best in the restricted area, opponents had the lowest field goal percentage in the restricted area against Ivica Zubac, where he's always top 5 in that area. They don't try him as much. Now, if you got to stretch big and you pull him away from the restricted area, you can still get plenty of points in the paint. But I think Kai has to use his athleticism for now while continuing to, yes, improve in getting in better spots for those rebounds, for those boards, because they need rebounding greatly. Scott said, must mean Markieff Morris, because Marcus Morris got run out of town by the fans. Hans said, I meant David Lee. More jokes. Rafael Romo said, I find Coffee plays too timid sometimes. Based upon what? Evil Bot said, Clippers dropped the ball not signing Yabusele for the minimum after his Olympics performance. I get it. He dunked on LeBron. It was really impressive. But he hasn't exactly showed much in the NBA. I've seen guys ball out in the Olympics before, international players against Team USA that do nothing in the actual NBA. And Yabusele has averaged 2 points and a board and a half per game so far. Now, he was with Boston. Tough to get minutes. But that was, he's been out of the league for a couple of years now. He played 2 years and then was playing overseas. Mark Jag. Mark Jag says, Kai be out there like the Energizer Bunny. Yeah. And he keeps going and going and going and going. Energizer Bunny, Duracell, the copper top. He's charged up, Drake style. He is, I don't know, the battery, it hasn't gotten any lower, even in the 28 minutes he played last night. The hops were still there, obviously, to end the game. He's a track and field guy. That's his background. So I expect his cardio to be elite. And that is a real asset. BZ Boys said those long, hardened passes in the Blazers game were exciting. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was. Jonathan Ing says international game allows for more physicality, less tricky ticky-tack foul calls, I think he meant. But NBA players are just higher caliber compared to the international game. Yeah, that's true. All of it. Tom Raines is back. Here's what I want to ask. After I put him in timeout, he came back after 10 minutes. Has it already been 10 minutes? I don't know, man. I've put him back in. So Kawhi is a lottery ticket. Okay. Yeah. Because it may be a long shot with his health right now on the right knee. But if you hit, you might win a championship. Because if you got a healthy Kawhi in a 7-game series, that is one of the greatest 7-game series playoff players in the history of the NBA. Proven. Tom Rain says, I run the Clippers flag high. I fight the Lakers fans at every turn. Okay, Tom, but you're hating on Kawhi and you brought up zero solutions. You tell me that realistic scenario of trading Kawhi and what they would get. As someone else pointed out here, I think it was Scott Tran, I don't think you'd like the return on a Kawhi trade right now. I don't think you understand how little you would be getting. Evil Bot says, did you see him in his debut? Yeah. That goes back to who were we talking about earlier? What else we got? Hans. I don't know if you answered this before, but what 6 teams in the West do you think is for sure better than this Clippers team? Okay. I don't think I have either. I like this question. I thought Hans was trolling earlier. Or was that for Hans? I will go with top 3 to me. Top 3 teams in the West. OKC is going to win 60 games, I think, after bringing in Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein. They won 57 games last season. They're not only stacked and deep and were just the number 1 seed last year, they added guys who are also young. The entire team is young and getting better. I know it hurts. Then I'll say Minnesota, then Denver, then Dallas. I think Luka's going to have either he or SGA are going to win the MVP this season. Mark my words. It's Luka or SGA. I think there's going to be MVP fatigue on Jokic. And a lot of people think, if SGA is the superstar in the MVP conversation again on the number 1 seed again, I think they'll give it to him. If Luka picks up or puts up ridiculous numbers and is a top 4 seed, I think they'll give it to him. One of those guys is winning it. So I got so far OKC, Denver, Minnesota, and Dallas are better than the Clippers currently on paper. I think I have to say, because of health and because their top 2 guys played 70 games last season, I think I have to put the Lakers ahead of them currently. I don't like saying that, but I don't know the status of Kawhi Leonard. If Kawhi's out there, if Kawhi can play 60-plus games, that would change my mind. But the Lakers also have a couple of young guys, Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves, that are starters that are getting better. I hate to say it. I hate to say Phoenix, but Mike Budenholzer is a regular season coach, has been very good in the regular season. I know he won a championship because KD's toe was on the line. Now he's coaching KD in Phoenix. If they have decent health, and Devin Booker's 27, 28? He's still very young and getting better. Yeah, 27. If Bradley Beal can stay healthy, if they're decent defensively, they're better. I hate to say it. Clippers see him opening night. I think you can easily make the case. So that's 6 teams right there. So OKC, Denver, Minnesota, Lakers, Dallas, Phoenix. There's your 6 teams right there. I think New Orleans can make the argument. They brought in DeJounte Murray. It depends on Zion and how many games he's going to give you, but they can make the argument. I think Sacramento can make the argument, getting DeMar DeRozan. Golden State, I like the Clippers more than them. But I don't know. Tell me how many games Kawhi is playing, and I can give you a more accurate assessment of how many games the Clippers can win. How can we project right now? Juan Angulo says, OKC looking scary. Could have been the Clippers, man. J-Dub Shea. Stop going down that road. Every GM in the history of basketball makes that move. BZ Boys says, how long is Van Gundy going to keep that Band-Aid on his skull? What happened? Butting heads with Ty Lue already? I don't know what happened. Yabusele, I guess, had 15 points in 13 minutes. Cool story. Preseason. And look, maybe he pans out. Second time is the charm for him in the NBA. I'm just saying it's not any guarantee. He was in the NBA for 2 years and then went and played overseas. He'll likely be better than he was. I'll say that. Tom Raines still doesn't have a realistic trade scenario for Kawhi, so just talking nonsense. Han said, I agree with those 4 so far for sure, better than the Clippers. Dallas, OKC, Denver, Minnesota. Gregory Elwood said, legit thought, what do you trade Cam Christie and Tucker for Zach Collins? No, I wouldn't. I like Cam Christie far too much. I do like Zach Collins. I'm a fan. But I wouldn't do it. I'd be too afraid of what San Antonio will be able to do with Cam Christie. And I like enough what I've seen with Kai Jones and what I know about Mo Bamba to feel somewhat okay about backup center. The key is Zubats is the one who needs to play 30 minutes per game or more. That's how you mitigate the issues with backup center. Zoo plays more to begin with. Juan Angulo says, Cam Johnson from the Nets. Yeah, what's the trade? Tell me how it's happening. Guys, you can't just throw out names. From Japan said, I don't know about the other team. Suns, yeah, for sure. Mark Jag says, why would you trade Christie, one of the few players who's young enough to be a bridge from the choir to the future? Yeah, I agree. Clips or Dies says, oh, I'll be there opening night, and I can't wait. Me neither. You mean Monday or the 23rd? Because Monday will be the first day a basketball game is played at Intuit Dome, and I couldn't be more hyped. Maybe we'll talk more about Intuit Dome tomorrow. Tom Rain says, I wanted to get DeRozan. Cool story, bro. EvilBot says, who do you think will be more improved in our team? Give me a couple guys. Who are you talking about? Scott Tran says, who's guarding KD opening night? Man, how about Derrick Jones Jr.? That's who. If there's no Kawhi. Tom Rain says, how long will Norman Powell have that bruise on his forehead? I don't think it's going away. Yawning Tears said, what are the Clippers going to do with the available two-ways between Kai, Miller, and Williams? Miller is on one already. Williams is not. Aldonis, you can make the argument he's earning it. But Kai Jones is the guy. They need a backup big because Mo Bamba's hurt right now. Kai Jones is going to get that last two-way. Williams may be on the G League or somebody else might give him a two-way. He's looked awesome. Aldonis Williams. Juan Angulo says Brandon Boston breakout season at the Spurs. Maybe if he gets enough time. I don't know. Yeah, this is a good point. Tassian says Collins is hurt a lot too. Tom Rain says, I did the Intuit Dome tour on Monday. I'm excited to go. Let's go, Tom. Let's go, Tom. Asian Domination 15 says, at what point did they trade Kawhi? Tom, is this your burner in the chat? Hans responds, never. We already explained this. Rewind it 20 minutes. BZ Boy says, is the in-season tournament happening this season? Yes. They didn't do away with it after 1 year. Lakers are trying to go back-to-back. No, it's a cool achievement, really. Jonathan Ing, the problem with these trade scenarios, many folks here are forgetting that the Clippers are asset deprived and don't have much leverage. Yeah, that's a good point. David Roska, it's all about the Clippers. needs to update his logo. I know I do at times too when I do the game threads that follow out of May on Twitter. Each and every game, by the way, after we do, let me give you some of the format and the syllabus for how things are going to go this year on Clippers Talk if you haven't participated yet. So pregame, we have an hour pregame show called Clippers Countdown. That will be on either the Patriot AM 1150 if the Dodgers are on AM 570, or will be on AM 570 if the Dodgers are off. Monday night, we're on AM 570. So an hour-long pregame show. Not only are we on there, we're on here on the YouTube Live. So you can come and hang out, and you'll see Into It Dome Monday night. We'll have it for you right here in the YouTube Live section. We'll be streaming the pregame show. Then we'll stream the postgame show, which is going to be, I don't know, about a half hour in the postseason, or excuse me, the preseason, because we're not doing calls yet. When we do calls, it'll be longer. It'll be an hour-long postgame show, but that'll be all streamed here too. So it pays to subscribe here at Clippers Talk on the YouTube side, because pregame and postgame, you'll be able to see everything and hang out with me and Carlo and Big Brother Jake Warner. Maybe for road games, I'll be in the Burbank studios. You can see Katie Newton. But home games, I'll be at Into It Dome. So you can be in the arena for pre and post with us. Yawning Tears said, is there anything the Clippers could offer make work for a trade for Bobby Portis? Probably not, man. Unless they want to give up a first-round pick, which they're not doing. Bobby Portis is a legacy player with the Milwaukee Bucks. Why would they get rid of him? Unless there's so much friction between he and the front office and Doc Rivers or something, which I have no idea about, that's the only way I could see them getting rid of him. He's a good player. He can hit threes. He'd be great at power forward. Guess what? He's good for them. They're not trading him. He won a championship with them. He's a fan favorite. Why would they trade him? Tom Raines, where do you get to sit when you call the game? Well, we'll find out Monday night. I don't know. I've never been to a game and Into a Dome yet. Adam Richards says, Kawhi is the worst superstar Clipper ever signed. He ruined the franchise, literally. Spare me. Yeah, I'm sorry that his knee has failed him, guys. He's as frustrated as anyone. But don't say that nonsense. He turned them into a destination franchise. That has ramifications for decades. They will be able to get better free agents along the way and superstars to come because Kawhi came. Adam Richard, otherwise known as Jackson Snow, said, hey, Adam, just joined. How did Jordan Miller look during the game? Wasn't able to watch. Great. Awesome. He was my player to watch Tuesday night. And last night, he had the game-winning pass to Kai Jone for the dunk. And finished with 15 points on 6 of 12 shooting. Hit 1 3-pointer. Was getting to the free throw line. Jordan Miller is a force getting downhill and can board too. Let's see. What do we got here? That Mexican Nara says, Tucker in a second for Dwight Powell and run Bamba at the backup 4 while starting Batum. I don't think Bamba's going to be the backup 4. I don't think he's going to play 4. I don't know how much, if any, he played 4 next to Wendell Carter with Orlando. I don't think that's the spot for him. Playing 4 means he'll be guarding 4s more on the perimeter. Doesn't make sense. You guys often think, well, you got him and Zua out there at times, or you play more bigs, your rebounding will be better. Well, not if they have to guard smaller guys on the perimeter that are shooting threes. They're pulled away from the basket. Evilbot says, Bucks will ask Mann in 2030 first-round pick, so the answer is no. It may be DOA. Like they just wouldn't even entertain trading Bobby Portis. You know how many Bobby Portis jerseys there are with Milwaukee? Like, he is a favorite. He's not going anywhere. Hans said, trade talks for Clippers fans should wait until close to the deadline and see what teams, if any, are selling low. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe we should wait to see where the Clippers are at to see if they should be trying to improve for this season or for future seasons. Clips or Die says, how does Kawhi have any control over tearing his ACL? Thank you. Adam Dick over here saying, Shea would have changed the franchise, Adam. Let me explain something to you guys. Nobody said Shea Gilgeous-Alexander would be an MVP. Nobody said that. We said all-star was his ceiling. Let me explain something else. If he stayed, he's likely not developing as fast as he did in OKC on a young team where he got a ton of minutes and got a season with Chris Paul. Do you understand? All that worked in his favor. It's circumstantial. It's not plug-and-play fantasy basketball. Yawning Tears says, I think the Bucks might consider trading Portis because he's such value and talent behind the best talent, so maybe they want to shift that roster spot talent to another position that plays more. Let me know when it happens. I'm yawning and crying at this take. Tears. BZ Boy says, dope interview with the boss, Ralph Lawler. Check out part 1 and part 2. So about an hour and 47 minutes total. Long sit-down interview up in Oregon with Ralph Lawler in Bend, Oregon. Really proud of that. Encourage you guys to check that out in the video section here on the YouTube channel, Clippers Talk. Jackson Snow said, would it be possible to try for someone like Maxi Kleber? Is that the guy? I don't know. His play has fallen off. I've talked to people in Dallas. Like this is the solution at power forward. 4 points per game. He shot 34% the last couple of seasons from 3. This is your king? This is your solution. Maxi Kleber. He's not a great rebounder. Like, this is who you want playing power forward. Like, guys, you're killing me here. Mark Jag. I used to like Nikola Mirotic as a player. You mean with like Chicago back in the day? Am I thinking of the same person? Didn't he get in a fight with, who was it? Fist fight? Yeah, that is who I was thinking of. I liked him too. Played New Orleans as well. Juan Angulo says 2026 LaMelo Ball. You seen the LeVar video? He's a restricted free agent. Charlotte can match any offer. Yeah, I saw the LeVar video. It doesn't mean anything. It's LeVar. Evilbot Chuck says, is there any chance that the Clippers sign next season free agents Naz Reid or Aaron Gordon? So much is dependent on, okay, is James Harden going to opt out after this season? That would free up $30 million. Then maybe. But then you've lost James Harden. I love Naz Reid. I think part of the reason, though, Minnesota made that last move is to have the funds to extend him themselves. He's only 24. I don't think he's going anywhere. Adam Richards said, how about Julius Randle? Doesn't sound like he's going anywhere. Any thought to trade Harden? How many games do you want to win this season? Trade Harden? Look, if they're out of it at the trade deadline, then we can talk about this. But to talk about this at the beginning of the season when Harden is the complete engine of the team, it's a James Harden team, is a little bit nuts, but I expect nothing less. Richard. Tom Raines, what role will Chris Dunn play? Second unit? I think so. There's an outside shot he could start next to James Harden. I just don't think the three-point shooting, he doesn't have a long track record of success from there. Last 88 games, he shot about 40% from 3, but it's just 88 games. That's not who he's been throughout his career. It was on a bad Utah team last year. Terance Mann is more proven as a three-point shooter. He does need to get them up. He does need to be more aggressive from there. But Chris Dunn is a career 32% three-point shooter. Terance Mann is 5% better than that at 37%. even with a bad 21 games to start off last season before the last 50, when he shot 44% from three over a 50-game stretch. I can't entertain. I'm putting Adam in timeout. Too many dumb questions. I'm sorry. We have to learn. Bruce, Master Wayne, how do we learn? Jackson Snow said, obviously he's not a great solution for power forward. Just thinking of someone that isn't Bobby Portis, and that is believable. So it's believable that you could get Maxi Kleber. It's not anywhere near a solution, though. Just throwing out a power forward's name isn't a solution. He's not very good. That doesn't help you. We need actual guys that are realistic gets for the Clippers that can help them at power forward, not just names of guys who used to be good or serviceable. Jonathan Ing says, I can't tell if some of these trades people throw out there are trolling or just plug into the trade machine for fantasy type stuff. I can't either. People going to get muted. Scott Tran said, before Kawhi, the last major Clippers free agent signing was Coutinho Mobley. Kawhi made this place a destination. I've only said it 50 times in here. Thanks for backing me up. Busy Boy said, what did you think about Bones' performance in the Blazers game? He had some good buckets. Sure. He also was 4 for 15 and 3 of 11 from 3. 14 points. I don't think Bones is long for this team anymore, guys. They brought in KPJ. They brought in Chris Dunn. They lost one guard, and they brought in 2 more. So he already wasn't playing last season. They lost one guard, and they brought in 2 more. What do you think is going to happen? I don't think he's playing. Now, if Kawhi is not available, can they find a way? Maybe. It depends on KPJ's defense. It depends on Norman Powell's defense. Can he play with those guys? Can you find defenders to put around him? And actually, he had some good defensive plays last night, I think. So I take some of this back. His shooting wasn't there, but he had multiple deflections and defensive plays. I saw Bones, over the last 2 seasons with the Clippers, be a much better defender than he was rumored to be coming out of Denver. Evil Bot says, I'll trade Bones to the Magic for 2 second-round picks. Asian Domination 15. Who's supposed to run point for the second squad? I'm guessing Norman Powell, as I mentioned earlier, will be taken out early, and he or KPJ will run point, or Chris Dunn. Any of those guys can do it by committee, can bring the ball up the floor. Any of them. Chris Dunn, Norman Powell, even if he starts, you take him out early, bring him back when James Harden comes out. KPJ can run it. I am higher on him the most, it seems like, lately. Jackson Snow says, you say Bones might not be long for this team. Do you think a trade will happen with him, and if so, for who? I'll say, with who? PJ Tucker. I think when PJ gets moved, Bones will likely be included. I don't know. I hope not. I love Bones, but I don't know if he's getting a shot. He has a real skill set with pull-up threes in this league. It's proven. Guys, people were talking about Bones last night having a bad preseason game, and shooting-wise he did. But NBA teams have tape on Bones in playoff games, making a big impact for Denver and for the Clippers. They have a 37-point game in the regular season last year. When they look at Bones, they're not going, so what's he doing in the preseason? There's enough film out there on Bones Highland doing real stuff in real NBA games. He is a legit backup point guard in the NBA, in my opinion. He hasn't gotten the shot because the Clippers brought in James Harden after Bones in the first 2 weeks of the season was averaging. Do you guys remember? He was averaging 15 points per game. He looked great the first 4 or 5 games, backing up Russell Westbrook. Then they get James Harden. Russell Westbrook's now coming off the bench. I wish it was Bones Highland instead. I think it would have changed a lot for his career trajectory if he had kept that spot. But I understand Russ is the veteran. I don't think he's a better player than Bones. Tom Raines, not at this point. When I mentioned DeRozan, I did because he actually said he considered LA Clippers. You responded, cool story. I'm not talking out of my ass. He's mentioned him multiple times before. He mentioned the Clippers when he went to Chicago. But then he ends up with contracts that the Clippers obviously couldn't give him. So how close was he to taking, he got $80 million or something like that from Chicago. The Clippers had, I think, the taxpayer mid-level exception to offer him $5 million, $6 million. Yeah, I almost came. Really? You almost gave up $75 million? I don't think so. I don't buy it. He flirts with it because he's from here. He's from Compton. I don't think it was ever as close once it came down to the fine print and the money. Mark Jagg said, Bones can get up shots and threes up at a high volume. I can see him getting some burn. In what lineups? In what lineups can Bones Highland play? You guys tell me that. Asian Domination 15 says, do you think Jordan Miller will get minutes during the season? Yes, I do. That's just based upon the way Coach Lue has talked about him, the way the G League, the Summer League, and the preseason players he's going up against have not been able to slow him down. You got to see Jordan Miller and what he can do now against real guys in the NBA in real minutes. Evilbot Chuck says, I think Clippers already have a trade done, but they need to wait for the clauses restriction lift. You have no idea. It's just conjecture. Let me grab another diet soda. I'll be back in 10 seconds. Hello. Now we got, after a Diet Mountain Dew, we got one of our favorites, Dr. Pepper Cherry Zero Sugar. A little bit of caffeine. Oh, you can taste the refreshment just by opening up the Big Mouth can. Are all soda cans now Big Mouth? Remember when that was a thing? I think they just all adopted that because it means you're drinking more faster, so therefore you're buying more. Yeah, I'm guessing all companies started doing it. Evilbot said, will be a surprise. Just wait and have faith. I ain't got no faith in Evilbot's prediction here. I think it's going to happen at some point. You're saying it's already done. BS. Clips or Die says, I hope they waive PJ and give Miller that slot. There is going to be, I think, some 2-for-1 trade that happens to open up a spot. Tom Rain says, what can we expect from KPJ? Sounds like you are high on him. He said KJP. I knew what you meant. It's all good. Tom, see, we learn from our timeouts. Sometimes you do put baby in the corner. We adjust. I like Tom Raines. Now, we've come to an understanding. Adam got the guns out. Only 19 likes. Says MKX LNT. I haven't put a time limit on today's. I do want to watch at least the fourth quarter of Oregon, Ohio State, but they are not even at the half yet. And you guys are keeping me entertained. We're having a good time here. So, Kevin Porter Jr., Tom Raines asks, why am I high on him? Well, first of all, there's a ton of tape to watch on KPJ. And while he did it and was putting up numbers on a bad team, so it's hard to evaluate guys like that when he was with the Houston Rockets, there are some things that I think could translate. He can run the pick and roll. People have called him a poor man's James Harden. He's a lefty. He is ISO-centric. He's an ISO get in your bag type of player. There are positives and negatives to that. For instance, he had a play last night where he brought the ball up, didn't make a pass, and took a long two, the least efficient shot in basketball, missed it. Blazers get the rebound, possession's over. One of the worst possessions you can have. That's bad. But he had other plays where you could see him get into his bag a little bit and do damage. And he can hit shots that are high degree of difficulty shots, like the spinning layup he had in the third quarter. A little 8-footer he had after, I think, Kai Jones knocked it back to him. He missed one and then got the second one to go. And then he had some defense, and he actually had a long outlet pass to Derrick Jones. So after it was James Harden with those long advanced passes, KPJ can do some of that stuff too. High pick and roll. Basically, KPJ at his best. I think what the Clippers are looking for in him, guys, is to be able... Am I an Oregon fan? No, I just wear the hat. Is to be able to have some continuity from first and second units, meaning James Harden is running that first unit and they play a certain brand of basketball. They don't want to play completely different with the second unit. KPJ can kind of bridge those two things by playing a little bit like the Hall of Famer James Harden, like a 10% Harden, maybe not even that high. But there is something there. There is. It is an NBA, high-level NBA skill to hit the shots at the degree of difficulty he can knock them down at with the defender in his face, and it doesn't even matter. He can also miss those shots, and then they turn into bad shots. It depends on his efficiency and how frequently he's going to be able to hit them at. But what I know about KPJ in this way is he shot his last 2 full seasons in the league with Houston. In 21-22, on catch-and-shoot threes, he shot 48% on catch-and-shoot threes in the 21-22 season, where he played 61 games and started all 61 games. 48% on catch-and-shoot threes is tremendous. He ended up shooting 38% overall on threes. So the pull-up threes weren't as great. But this is why I've said before, I think he could play off ball next to James Harden at times because his catch-and-shoot three ability. And then also he'll take pressure off Harden having to bring it up all the time and having to orchestrate the offense all the time because KPJ can do a little bit of that. In the 22-23 season, he shot 44% on catch-and-shoot threes. That's great. It's not as absurd as 48%, but it's still great. Those are things that as long as he's still able to do that, and there's no reason why your skills would diminish on catch-and-shoot threes at the age of 24 or 23, whatever he's at. I think he just turned 24 last May. That's stuff that can help out this Clippers team. That, his playmaking, and his individual ISO scoring. He's a shot creator. They don't have many of them. That's why I'm high on KPJ. Tom Raines. It's a very good question. Yeah, and you make a good point. Seems like they took a chance on him due to possible upside. They weren't the only team that was ready to give him a contract. What's interesting is he has history with Steve Ballmer. He played AAU or high school ball with Steve Ballmer's son, so there's a relationship established there. That's cool. And Coach Lue has talked glowingly about how hard he wants to coach him. He's also spoke recently about how he's going to let him do his thing and not coach him up too much right now in preseason to see what he has to work with. Let KPJ go to his natural instincts with all his moves and his play right now, and then start trimming the fat and start making him and turning him into a more efficient player is the goal here on a winning team, which he hasn't been on before. So there's still plenty of unknowns, as there are with all young players, but he averaged 19 points a game in the NBA. Even on a bad team, that's not nothing to sneeze at. There's a player there. There is somebody that can help a team that is in desperate straits when it comes to shot creation and having somebody else that can run the offense. While he's not, when we compare skill sets to James Harden, it's like his attribute, if you think of like a video game, like passing, shooting, ISO scoring, catch and shoots. Like James Harden is like a 10 at all these things. And KPJ is like a 2 or 3, a 4. But he can do all of them. Like he has those things in his bag. He has a similar overall repertoire It's just he's not nearly as good. They aren't nearly as refined as things are with James Harden, who is an all-time great and a Hall of Famer. That's the comparison. It's like, can he do it as efficiently as James Harden? No. Can he get better? That's what we're waiting to see. Jackson Snow asking me about, am I an Oregon fan? I am. Not super hardcore, but I am. Evil Bot says, will you be my mentor if I decide to do a Clippers post in Spanish? Me? No habla español. BZ Boys said, do you think JJ Redick how do you think he will do as a head coach for the Lakers? I'm a JJ fan, but I hate the Lakers. So in a way, I want him to do good, but not with that team. I feel the exact same way, BZ Boy. I'm a JJ Redick fan, not a Laker fan. I think he's going to do good. I think he can get them 5 more victories. I think you put him on that Lakers team from last season that got 70 games out of LeBron and 70 games out of Anthony Davis. They would have won at least 5 more games just by optimizing lineups, just by taking more three-pointers. Darvin Ham was not a very good coach. The Lakers fans are not wrong about that. I mean, I respect the guy and all, but I don't think he did a great job. We'll see. He's still young. It was his first job. But let's say they win 5 more games than they did last season. Or just looking at the standings from last year. You win 5 more games in the West, guys, they could have been a top 4 seed. They could have gone from 7th to 4 just like that. So it's meaningful. Think 5 games. What's 5 games? 5 games? Move up 5 spots. Mark Jag said, best case scenario, start Harden and KPJ and bring Norm off the bench if KPJ takes a step. Yeah, but we're far away from that. I mean, Norm is a bucket. And really, all the trepidation with Norman Powell and the concern of him starting is based upon his defense. If he's actually going to get back to playing better defense, there's not much of an issue with him starting. If he's really, truly getting back to the UCLA and Toronto Raptors norm on defense, I'll believe it when I see it. But if he's just an above-average defender instead of a slightly below-average defender, that can make all the difference in the world. That will push those concerns aside. Now, you got a guy that can get you an easy 20, an efficient 20, that's also an above-average defender? Ooh, now we're talking. Now we're talking about making up for the lack of production missing with Paul George gone. Tom Rain says, seems like they took a chance on him due to possible ups. Oh, that was you, KPJ. Rockets would not have let him go if it wasn't for, obviously, they paid him $20 million. Love to see him flourish with us. Yes. Poetic Tube says, hey, Nostradamus. Nostradamus. Yeah, you can't spell Nostradamus without Adam. Is that true? Which athlete is a good comp for Kai Jones' future progression? Amari Stoudemire? I mean, I've joked before that, like, you guys think he's going to be Amari Stoudemire and just dunking on the entire league as soon as he starts playing. That's far too aspirational. I've compared him to Stromile Swift, who, if you don't remember Stromile Swift, my God, check out some mixtapes. He's up there with White Chocolate mixtapes as 2 of my favorite mixtapes to watch ever. Stromile Swift dunks are insane. I don't think he's that or has that much style to him. Stromile is in a league of his own. If you remember him on Memphis, especially. Houston, too. I mean, DeAndre Jordan, guys. Okay. Let's look at DeAndre Jordan's stats from his early days when we're trying to compare him to Kai Jones. And it's not a perfect comp. There aren't any. Every player is unique. But it took him years to get into a position where he was a legit NBA player. In fact, I would say it took over 3 years playing. Let's see how many minutes he got his first 3. Yeah. Here's the difference, guys. DeAndre Jordan, his first season in the NBA, played 771 minutes. Kai Jones total in the NBA has only played 613 minutes. One season, DeAndre played more minutes than Kai Jones has total in the NBA in his career. Then his second season, now he's at 1,100 minutes, DeAndre Jordan. His third season, he's at 2,000 minutes. And he still was averaging 4 points, 7 points his first 3 seasons. Then his fourth season, he started to really show something. 7 and 8 with 2 blocks per game. Then by his fifth season, now he's getting 10 and 14. That was the 2013-14 year. So the Doc Rivers first season. And he made a point to bring out the best in him. Maybe you could say Coach Lue's trying to do the same with Kai Jones. He knows what he has. Can he mold him and sculpt him into the type of player he wants him to be with that freakish athleticism, like what happened with DeAndre Jordan? I'm just saying, DeAndre Jordan was further along to start with and was getting much heavier minute load early on. Hey, Kai Jones doesn't have to be on the same track that DeAndre Jordan was on to success. He can pave his own way. But I'm just telling you, if you want to be realistic, it's a DeAndre Jordan type of ascension that you're probably looking at, but we'll see. That Mexican Nara says if KPJ takes a step, I would not be surprised if Norman gets included in the trade package. I've said that basically since they got KPJ. I think they see him, 6-man type, and then can you trade Norm for that 4? I don't love the idea of trading Norman Powell. I don't think he's expendable, but if KPJ figures it out and becomes instant offense and somebody that you can really play through offensively, which is not, Norm can't create for himself as much as KPJ. He is a catch and shoot guy, and he can go to his right for layups, and he's a quick decision and a quick strike scorer. But he doesn't have the bag, and that's fine. He's a different type of player. KPJ's ceiling, make no mistake about it, is higher. It is. But Norman Powell is a bucket now. An efficient 20-point scorer is what I think he can be this season, should he get the minutes. And if his defense is solid, be huge for this team. Evil Bot says KPJ is our backup point guard. Jackson Snow says, who do you think would be the ideal player to trade for if the Clippers decide to make a trade? I mean, that's too broad of a question. Let's trim it down a little bit, please. Y'all going to make me go back to Noah Eagle on this Oregon-Ohio State game. Put some parameters on it a little bit, Jackson Snow. Mark Jag said, I was very impressed with Derrick Jones Jr. and Mann gained deflections and steals in the first quarter. Dunn is good at that too. Dunn is great at that. Chris Dunn is a problem. One of the better perimeter lockdown defenders you will see in this league. I'm excited for you guys to get a taste of Chris Dunn. I've been a fan. Dr. Schapp, been a fan from 213 Hoops. I am very thankful he is a Clipper. Big personality too. A lot of confidence and bravado. I like it. I like the energy he brings. He's my new favorite Clipper, if you didn't know. Chris Dunn. Love him. And part of it is because he has an attitude about him and a physicality that he brings that is going to help solidify this Clippers team with that defensive identity they're trying to create. All right. We're an hour and 44 minutes in. If you guys got more questions, I'll keep going. But if not, I'm going to Oregon. If you got more questions, if you got more comments, I had something else, another subject I could hit on, or I could save it for tomorrow. Not sure at this point. But hour and 44 is pretty good. I told you, we're 7 days a week now here on this YouTube channel at Clippers Talk. If you're just hanging out on the podcast side on Spotify, You're going to be missing a lot of these shows. I'm not putting them all out on there. I'm not. Sorry. I'm trying to get more people to engage and watch the YouTube. I like doing lives because that's what radio is. I enjoy that environment, seeing what happens. And the back and forth with you guys is a lot of fun on here. I love the chat. Even when I mute somebody once in a while, Tom Raines completely redeemed himself. And it's fun. And he just thanked me for the Q&A. A guy who was muted. Some people might not like my style. I can't please everyone. You try to please everyone, you please no one. I try to do what I think works. I've been doing this for a bit. Asian Domination 15 says, what's the best case situation for the Clippers this season and worst case? Best case, realistically, I think the 6th seed. I went through 6 teams that I think are clearly better than the Clippers. Beezy Boys from Norway. He's logging off. Tom, you're fine. My friend. We're better friends for it. But best case, worst case. Best case, I think, is probably the 6th seed. Someone said 5th. Maybe that's the ultimate best case, but I don't know. That means Kawhi's playing 60-plus games. Worst case, Kawhi's playing 20, 30 games. James Harden misses a chunk of games, and they win 30 games, 35 games. I think that's worst case. That would also mean Houston ends up with a better record, most likely. That's not good. Jackson Snow said, I'm just asking, who would you want to see on the Clippers? Like anyone? It's too broad. I like solution-based stuff. I like realistic stuff. Who would I want to see? Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, MKXLNT said, old school Clippers fans know how special this show is. All right. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the old school fans, the new school fans, everybody. I just love talking Clippers basketball. I do. And I know you guys have been starved for it and haven't had a consistent outlet or a platform that's bringing it to you every day. You got it now. Jackson Snow says, to me, as long as the Thunder don't get Cooper Flag, then to me this season is good enough. You're saying the Clippers are so bad that they end up pick swapping with them, who have the first overall pick, and they end up with Cooper Flag. I'm hoping that doesn't happen either. I don't think a lot would have to go wrong for the Clippers. Yawning Tears said, has Ty said what the starting lineup will be when Kawhi is back? Of course not, man. No, man. It's training camp. You got to get the most out of guys. They're competing right now. Don't let anyone know they have a secure spot on the team. Make them work. Make them grind. See, this is what happens. Jackson Snow goes, Bones, PJ in a second for Giannis. Who says no? The Bucks, man. They say no. I know you're joking. It's funny. They'd say no to trading Bobby Portis for that. Maybe Middleton if they want to get rid of that contract. No, they'd get a lot more. Mark Jag says, Harden said in an interview at practice that the offense will be elite this year. I was kind of confused when he said that, but Harden has a good track record. What do you expect him to say, Mark? Why would you be confused? James Harden's going to say we're going to be mediocre offensively? We're going to be bad offensively? What exactly did you expect him to say? Of course he's going to say that. He has a ton of belief in himself, and he does have the track record. James Harden offenses are on average 5th best. Now, he's 35 and probably has less to work with than some of the rosters in the past with shot creators, and I don't know what it's going to look like. I think they need to be somewhere between 10 and 13. I think that's realistic offensively, 10 and 13. Because I'm telling you right now, as much as last night I liked seeing the advanced passes because they need quick hitters, and easy buckets. The reason I love seeing that is because I think they're going to struggle at times in the half court. Like Harden's going to have to settle for a tough step back three. If he doesn't have enough burst, as the legs get tired later in the season, is James Harden going to be able to get by guys consistently? And therefore draw 2 on the ball, find the open man, drive, kick, swing stuff. Like it's challenging when you don't have enough shot creators, which is why I believe if Kawhi's not starting, Norman Powell will be the starting lineup. I've been saying that the entire time. I don't know why people are acting like it's surprising or, no, you can't do that. You got to go all defense. You go all defense, you're going to get worn out having to guard and get enough stops just to stay in a ball game because offensively you're not doing much. Yeah, they're not doing this. Juan Anguilla says Cam Johnson for Bones, PJ, or Norm if KPJ is cooking. It's not happening. Jackson Snow, who do you think would win in a fight, PJ or Draymond Green? PJ. I don't know. These aren't things I concern myself with. Jackson Snow, where does Amir fall into the rotation? Amir could fall into the starting rotation. Amir might start at the 4. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all. He was doing it. He played the 4 25% of the time last season. And I'm guessing a lot of that was after Kawhi went down when I mentioned the 8 games at the end of last year's regular season without Kawhi. Amir was starting a ton and playing 31 minutes per game. Why can't he start at the 4? I know his rebounding leaves something to be desired. Some of that is just desire. There's technique to it too, but there's no reason he can't be a better rebounder. If that's a point of emphasis by this coaching staff, he has to be. And it is, so he has to be. I'm sure that's a prerequisite to starting at the 4. Mark Lag says, let's compare who he had in Houston, James Harden, to who he has now. Beverly, Ariza, Tucker, they weren't that crazy. No, but they also had CP3. Forget about that part. Not the entire time. I guess we're saying they had Beverly. They didn't have CP3 then. Mark, James Harden was in his prime. He wasn't 35 then. He was getting 35 per game instead. He's not going to be able to do that anymore. So it's a bad comparison in some ways. I'm open to going down that road. But I'm telling you, he could blow by anybody whenever he wanted to then with his dribble drive. James Harden can't do that today. It's completely different. Jackson Snow said, what do you think our bench lineup looks like, assuming everyone is healthy? Well, I don't think they're going to run a 5-man lineup change. Coach Lue, in fact, criticized himself after what happened Tuesday night against Brooklyn in San Diego for going with a 5-man lineup shift that was kind of a mess. Couldn't get the ball up the floor. Brooklyn was pressing them. They were playing them tough defensively, picking them up full court, and the Clippers offense completely stalled out. And I think Norm is going to start if Kawhi isn't there, and Norm is going to come out of the game within the first 5 or 6 minutes, and then he'll join the second unit, maybe with Ivica Zubac, because of what Coach Lue said about that. Law Murray had it. Coach Lue talked about getting Norm out early to bring him back with Zubac, which led everyone to believe, oh, he's a starter, as if that was some secret. I think it was obviously going to happen. Not enough offense without him. So when you talk about what our bench lineup looks like, even though Norm is starting, I think, without Kawhi, he would still be in the bench lineup. So maybe it's him, KPJ, Chris Dunn, Batum, Zoo, Mo Bamba at times, Amir, depending on if he's starting. There's a lot to be decided. I don't think, it's going to be matchup based. It's going to be situational. Yawning Tears said, is Van Gundy helping with offense at all or strictly defense? I don't know. I'm sure he gives input. I'm sure, it's not lost on him. He was a head coach forever. You have to do some of both. But I think he is the elite defensive coordinator right now. Think of a Greg Williams defense without the bounty gate part. Anthony Armstrong. Who is the guard you think should come off the bench, Bones or KPJ? Me personally, I think Bones. Let me explain something. It won't be Bones most likely, if he's even still on the team, because KPJ is much bigger. He can guard on the other end. He actually has real potential to guard on the perimeter, KPJ. So right there, there's a huge difference between him and Bones Highland. Then you throw in the fact KPJ has been a starter and averaged almost 20 points per game at the NBA level. That's completely different than Bones. He's more accomplished. He's a bigger body. I keep telling you, check YouTube, KPJ defensive highlights. He has all the potential in the world there. Bones is limited. Even if he gives great effort, he's still small, slight of frame. They're going to try to pick on him. And I think his effort defensively overall with the Clippers has been good when he's been given a real opportunity to play defensively. I think it's been okay. But KPJ, I expect him to be in front of Bones Highland, just like he has been in the preseason. Jackson Snow, Zoo versus second-string center would go insane. I think that's the plan. Zoo detonating and being featured more as the main focal point on offense against second units. Anthony, do you understand there's two sides to basketball? But if Bones was a starter, he could easily average 20 himself. How many has he given up on the other end? What does it matter? Natural Haunt says, what do you think of Man? He looks like a complete player. Any chance he gets on the team? Well, he's not going to get the two-way over Kai Jones, in my opinion, because they need a backup big right now. They don't have Mo Bamba. So, no, probably not. G League team or some other team picks him up. I don't know. He's been really good. Man. Aldonis Williams has impressed. I mean, I don't know, the numbers aren't crazy. It's not like he had a 30-point game or something, but you want to talk about a guy in control running the offense. 5 assists to 1 turnover last night. Multiple lobs to Kai Jones as soon as he gets on the ball game. He had 4 and 5 assists in 13 minutes. 5 assists in 13 minutes. He's been good. Really good. And he certainly has an argument to make for that last two-way spot. But, you know, if they make a trade and all of a sudden they have an open roster spot and not just a two-way, then can they get multiple guys on? Kai and him. I don't know. That'd be ideal to me since PJ Tucker is not long being a Clipper. But good luck trying to find a team to trade for him. Maybe that would give him a message of some sort that, man, if we could trade for you, if there was a trade partner out there that wanted your services, this would be a lot easier. But you make $11 million. Yes, it's expiring, but they're probably going to have to take on a bad contract to get rid of a bad contract or a bad player, an unproven player. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work out. Do they just waive them? Stretch provision. They don't want to do that. You don't want to enter salary cap hell. Hey, we have this guy that's taking up cap space that's not on the team for $3.5 million. That would be rough. Oh, Anthony's coming to his senses now. The Grizzlies could use Bones off the bench. Okay. Who are the Clippers getting back in return? Remember, Bones is not making much. I want to say like $4 million. Let's see what his contract is. Deshaun Highland. God, I love Bones. But guys, I would not be shocked if he wasn't on the team opening night. Yeah, he's making $4 million. It was a club option. He's too valuable to have not given the money to, I guess, because they know his potential, if they really needed somebody, and they could still trade him. Juan Angulo says, everyone on Twitter losing it because Zach LaVine balling right now. Is he? What's Zach LaVine doing? Guys, I'm a big Zach LaVine fan. If you know me, you know this. I think he even has better potential defensively than he has shown. He's always been on bad teams. So while he is 29 years of age, there's almost an unknown to Zach LaVine and what he could do on a winning team. He's had some bad luck. He's had some awful Bulls teams. You look at like his teammates over the years, like 70% of them are now retired. Like he had so many bad, late and long in their tooth guys playing next to him, veterans. The problem with Zach LaVine is this, and I'm glad you brought this up so we can keep talking here. Hey, as long as you guys want to keep the conversation going, I'm here for you on Clippers Talk. I'm trying to go to see, I'm guessing the Bulls are playing right now. Preseason game. Zach LaVine's looking healthy, looking spry, looking like he's got bounce. Is that what you guys are telling me? Yeah, the game's live and they're taking on Memphis. Maybe that's why our friend brought up Memphis as a destination spot for Bones Highland, who, yes, can be a guy coming off the bench and helping a team today. I believe that. Against bench units, he's less of a liability defensively. Oh, my God. Zach LaVine in 22 minutes has 28 points on 9 of 12 shooting and 6 of 6 shooting from 3. So, after the foot injury, is he back to being the guy he was just a couple years ago where he was getting 27 per game? Last season, he only played 23 games. Season before that, he's at 77 and getting 25 a game. Season before that, 67, getting 24 a game. Season before that, 58 games, 27 a game. Now, I think his scoring went down because they brought in DeMar DeRozan, so it wasn't necessarily that it was injury-related or skills diminishing or anything like that, although he did shoot a career-high 42% from 3 that year. He was averaging 27 points per game. But his playoff career, I think he's been in the playoffs once. He's unproven there, and I don't think he played very well. It's all about health and then the contract, guys. This is why, first of all, let me say this. Any trade to go all in with Zach LaVine or any player should first of all be dependent on getting to see how Kawhi Leonard looks and how his knee is responding from actual basketball play. What is the point of trying to go all in again and bringing in a third star to pair with James Harden and Kawhi Leonard if Kawhi isn't right? What are we doing? That's my point. Because Zach LaVine, it's his contract that's the issue. He makes $43 million this year, $45 million next year, and then has a player option for $49 million basically in the summer of 2026. The big free agency summer where SGA and Luka Doncic, in theory, could be available. Problem is they could be extended before that, and they're in really good situations, so the chance of you getting one of them may be minute. But Zach LaVine opts in to that final year for $48 million, which he might at the age of 31. There goes your cap space for SGA or Luka Doncic in the summer of 2026. It is a risk. If he plays well enough, he won't opt in. So, depending on how you look at it, I don't know if he can stay healthy enough. I think it's too big of a risk. The risk is if Kawhi isn't healthy, there's no point of bringing in someone to try to make you a championship contender unless you have a healthy Kawhi Leonard. You're not going to be. So see if he's healthy first before you talk about all these moves. And somebody, might go out and get Zach LaVine before the Clippers even have a chance to find out about Kawhi. But I'm sorry, that's what needs to be observed right now. Whether or not Kawhi can stay healthy, whether or not the knee swelling stops. Jackson Snow says, PG to the Warriors for a bag of chips and a bottle of Dr. Pepper. Who says no? Scott Tran says the Warriors say no. Juan Angulo says, he brought up the Zach LaVine stat line. Jamie Marr said, Bula from Fiji, let's go Clippers. Appreciate you. Subscribe from Fiji. Is that? Yeah. I didn't even know how to spell Fiji. I don't vacation much. EvilBot said, Zach, Craig, and a first for PJ. Powell, Bones, and Mann. Jackson Snow, why in the world would the Bulls do that? Well, they wanted to apparently get rid of his contract because they're in this perpetual rebuild, and I think they would rather tank and be bad, and I'm guessing have their first-round pick, and they want to get a good young player who's not making $45 million per season like Zach LaVine. So, yeah, they could get more than maybe what the Clippers would be offering at this point if he does look healthy. The rumor this season, I forget who had it, but some publication was saying the Bulls were actually dangling a first-round pick with Zach LaVine just to get rid of his contract. If that was the case, I said, well, you got to think about it. To get a first-round pick from Chicago who's going to be bad, it probably would have been top 10 protected. But for a team without a lot of first-round picks, to say the least, in the Clippers, yeah, you got to think about that. Juan Anguilla says, yeah, better to just wait till 2026 for real. Let's let the young guys develop. Again, all you want to play the young guys, but you also want to trade for veterans to be better now. Which is it? Because it's going to be really hard to balance playing young guys and also competing. Mark Jag says, if KPJ pops, he can be a better version of Zach LaVine, and you don't have to trade anything. I don't know if he can be a better version of Zach LaVine, to be honest. Zach LaVine's efficiency on offense is pretty stellar. He can be a better playmaker, better defender. But I was at the game where Zach LaVine dropped 45 at Crypto or Staples a couple years ago. Like Zach LaVine's three-point shooting is pristine. It's butter. He's turned into – what's funny to me is he shot 38% from three at UCLA his 1 year. Nobody seemed to pick up on that and just thought, oh, dunker, athlete. I'm not surprised that he has this good of a shot. I guess if you're in SoCal, you shouldn't be. Mark Jag says, a better version of current Zach LaVine and much younger. Talking about KPJ. Wrong. Like, Zach, I don't think you understand. Zach LaVine being a number one option on a team that has made the playoffs is far more than anything KPJ has done. Zach LaVine, guys, has averaged 27 a game efficiently as a number one option for an NBA team and shot 42% from three doing so. Stop it. Let me know when KPJ gets close to that. Again, I'm high on KPJ. But his shot, I don't know if it's ever going to be Zach LaVine. Peak Zach LaVine. You can make the argument Zach LaVine also hasn't been in winning situations, but been a little better than what Houston was with their dysfunction at that time. Mark Jag says a lot of wild, inaccurate stuff on here sometimes. Still love him. Still love him. All right. 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Ohio State just scored again. They're up 8-22. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything, dude. College doesn't mean anything. I know Norm was starting over Zach. UCLA wasn't playing young guys, and Zach LaVine wasn't thought of as much. Look at how he's developed. He's better than Norman Powell. Trust me, and I love Norm. Now he is. Yawning Tears says, do you think any teams want to trade any young up-and-coming guys for veteran stars? Is that a trick question? I think you can answer your own question there. You tell me, man. Give me the situation. Give me the actual team, who you think the Clippers could be trading for, what the trade package is, and I will try to give you an answer. Man. All right. We can do this again tomorrow, guys. It's been over 2 hours. I love y'all. I appreciate you all in here. I really do. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's Clippers Talk 7 days a week now. We are not just locked in. We're locked on. No, we're locked. Not just locked on. We're locked in to Talking Clippers on Clippers Talk on YouTube. Again, you're not going to get all this content if you're just on Spotify, if you're just on the podcast side. We're doing way more now on the YouTube channel, Clippers Talk. Jackson Snow says, have a good night, Adam. Hope the Ducks win. Right on. Love you guys. MKX LNT says, cheers, Clipper Nation. Cheers. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Maybe I'll have some guests on. We'll see. Either way, I think we'll do a live. Scott Tran says, thanks for the live. I like the lives. I like interacting with you guys. I want to do more of these. We're only like a month and a half in on this channel, and the response has been good. And, you know, even when I give guys crap for wacky trade scenarios and stuff like that, or call you a casual, it's all good fun. I enjoy it, or I wouldn't do it. Enjoy this Clippers team. Love talking Clippers basketball. So we'll be back tomorrow here on Clippers Talk. I'll post this, and you can go back to the beginning if you got in late. As we reach 2 hours and 11 minutes here on this Clippers Talk Live. Everybody have a good night, and yeah.